Lukaku to Chelsea is very close to being a concluded deal. It's very close to him holding up that Chelsea shirt, very close to the here we go. If you're a Fabrizio Romano follower, very close to being over that line. There are a number of reported reasons as to why this is slightly delayed, and I wanted to gauge your opinions on that today. But the majority of the reports suggest that the bid has either been accepted or it will be accepted. If they know it will be accepted, how they know it's accepted will be accepted unless Inter Milan has said it. Use your noddles a little bit there, ladies and gentlemen. But what do you think the delay is? Is it fee negotiations, into finding a replacement? Maybe a little bit of the fan protest, maybe just the paperwork and legalities. I want your views and your opinions on that, but it is certainly closing in for a fee somewhere in the region of 110 to 120 million euros, depending upon which publication you trust, you believe in, you follow, you consume, etc. We're going to be delving into that. We are going to talk James Maddison, a reported 2 rejected bids or offers for the player of player plus cash. We know, as per Pete O'Rourke and a number of other outlets, the Football Insider, Chris Wheatley as well, that Leicester City is saying cash only, but Arsenal Football Club do believe they can land James Maddison for a player plus cash deal. We're going to delve into that. And the Kieran Trippier situation has now advanced itself further along the lines, with Trippier completely committing himself to Manchester United. Personal terms will be no issues. It's down to the club to negotiate that price. We want you to phone in now and have your say on the Football Terrace. This is your afternoon show, the chance for you to come on and have your say, to give us your views, your opinions. You might want to talk about what Pete said on the Done Deal show this morning. You might want to talk about some Twitter rumors that are out there, but lots of credible sources talking about all these deals, all variations of pretty much the same theme. I want your opinions, though. I want your thoughts and feelings as fans. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. You know what comes next, people? Here we go. Welcome back. Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to start with the Lukaku news straight away. The deal, I'm going to put it into the category of the deal being announced is close. For me, based on what I've read, based on some private conversations that I've had, I believe, you know me, I don't do the BS. I don't do the PR nonsense. I don't do the, if the next bid is going to be accepted, somebody in authority has got to inform somebody else that they would accept a bid of X. You know, it's not rocket science to see. And I believe what's happened is Chelsea have said, if we put 110 in, will you accept? Yes, we will. When can we put the official bid in? Let's just wait. We've got a few replacements, a few fan issues to take care of. Of course, the Lautaro Martinez issue is also at play here as well. But Chelsea are closing in on this deal. As per Christophe Terreur this afternoon, Chelsea want to get this concluded by the end of the week because they want him to play in the Super Cup. He's set to play in the Super Cup if they can get this deal done, through and dusted. There are numerous reports from Italy giving all different reasons as to why things are delayed. The 2 biggest are fan protest and fallout. The other is very much around Inter Milan looking for replacements. But by the way, which also includes Chelsea. There is this triangular relationship around the deal at the moment, with Chelsea signing Lukaku, Inter signing Zapata, and then Atalanta going after Tammy Abraham. I mean, that for me actually feels like the most plausible reason as to why there's just a slight delay. Now, Chelsea may get to a point where they say, look, you know, we've held off for a day or so, a couple of days from putting the official bid in and triggering the return to the UK and Premier League of Lukaku. But can we just hurry up with this now? Especially if Tammy Abraham delays. Maybe Tammy Abraham waits for Arsenal. That's why I say the Martinez situation is key in this. because Inter Milan have got to weigh up the huge fan fallout that already is. Can you imagine the potential riots should they sell Martinez as well? If they decide not to sell Martinez, Arsenal have then got to act. Arsenal's second choice target, it does seem, for that striker role is Tammy Abraham. But now Tammy Abraham's being looked at as a replacement at Atalanta. Now, if Tammy Abraham vies to go for Arsenal, because Inter Milan decide they're not selling Martinez for love nor money, I know they've said that already, it could change that triangle. So that could then delay the Inter Milan Lukaku Chelsea deal further. There's a lot at play here to get resolved. The bid element isn't the issue. And I think that's where I say to people, read multiple sources, listen to their streams, read their articles, but then read between the lines and, engage your brain a little bit and look at this from a logical standpoint. As I spoke to 3 different journalists privately today, most of which you know from the Football Terrace, and they've all given me slight different variations on what they have been told are going on, but they all end in the same result. Lukaku is going to be a Chelsea football player. I'm already seeing panic from Chelsea fans on socials. What's going to happen? Could it fall through? Listen, I would just remain relaxed about it. It's a very different situation to that of the Koundé deal, which was reliant on a player swap. Chelsea were very confident that if the swap didn't go through with Koundé, they would just increase the cash. Because if the swap wasn't going to go through for Zuma, it was meant to be because Zuma was going to go to West Ham and they were going to raise the funds anyway. Zuma's rejected both deals. So it's just stalled things slightly, not blocked as some are reporting. So there really isn't any major issue surrounding this deal at this particular moment in time. It's simply a case of 3 or 4 moving parts need to be resolved. And this is where it comes down to replacements and the legalities need to be sorted out. But Chelsea will be utilizing this time. They'll be reviewing contracts. They'll be reviewing personal terms to speed up the other elements. They want to get him registered. Of course, the Premier League starts in just over a week's time. The Super Cup is next Wednesday as well. And they want Lukaku to feature in that game in the blue of Chelsea wearing blue in that. Villarreal, they'll definitely be playing blue. So that's how things are going. When we look at the poll here and look at your votes, 25% of you think it's fee negotiations. 37% of you think that it is into replacement. And 24% of you think that it is fan protest. And, you'll probably find there may be small elements of both. Maybe when it comes to the fee negotiation, it's the price structure. That's always a difficult sticking point as well. So maybe, again, and this is where information comes out. Maybe a journalist who told me the bid's been accepted, what they mean is the fee's been accepted and the structure's being resolved. This is where you've got to take multiple pieces of information and look at them and take them as they are. But the deal looks like it's going to be going through. Terry, did you see my DM on Twitter last night regarding my membership? I didn't, my friend. I didn't see that at all. Did you DM my personal account or the Football Terrace directly? I don't know. I didn't see a DM from yourself, mate, but I get a lot of them at the moment. Let me know which one you DM'd, my friend, and I'll take a look at that for you. No problems. Let's take a look here at some of your comments that are coming through. Chelsea fans will be heartbroken. Beggars can't be choosers. Lukaku isn't leaving Inter, is what 007. But I mean, there are some Chelsea fans that are still hanging on to this notion of Haaland, legitimately still talking about it like it's a major possibility right now. Lukaku is a Man United reject. Okay. I don't necessarily think that is true. Terry, does Lukaku know Chelsea has a striker curse? Not really. One of the greatest Premier League strikers of all time played for them. Costa wasn't a flop, in my opinion. I think he's going to be absolutely fine. I think he's going to be fine as it stands right now. The Undertaker says £150 million bid for Kane from Chelsea on Sky Sports today. You know what? It's interesting, really. I've been talking about this for a while. I do genuinely believe a bid like that is going to go in. It's just something that's been with me the majority of the summer. Something that I just think will happen. I really, really do think that they will make a bid of that ilk. But just bear with me a second, because I like taking notes during these shows so that I know where things are for timestamps, because I know you all like a timestamp. When it comes to the situation with James Maddison, it's very, very interesting, because from my point of view, I feel like I feel a bit sorry for Arsenal fans at the moment because I think the wool's being pulled over their eyes. The James Maddison deal, and this is me reading multiple articles. This is me sitting here and discussing it with on the Done Deal show with Dean and with Pete. I'm of the conclusion now that Arsenal is all in Arsenal's hands. I know that Brendan Rodgers has come out and said we believe he will stay. You know, that we believe he will stay is the admission that it could happen. Is it admission or omission? One of the two. I'm not smart enough to know that. Anyway, yes, he says here that I believe he will stay, working very hard in training. Clearly, gossip and speculation at this time of year. Important member of our squad. Hopefully, this year can show the real top player that he is. Very bog standard, very PR driven, expected from Brendan Rodgers there. Now, this deal is in Arsenal's hands. There is no shadow of a doubt in my mind it's in their hands. Leicester City have shown appetite to sell. How do we know that? Because Arsenal have put in a number of bids. And very rarely do you see clubs move towards huge stars, huge transfers, without there being encouragement that a deal could be done. Very rarely. Which is why everybody was so shocked when Villa were trying to sign Emil Smith Rowe. Nobody believed it was possible. Nobody could understand why they were bidding. But Arsenal have been encouraged. James Maddison wants to join. A lot of people say things like he's interested or open to. He wants to join Arsenal Football Club. For whatever reason, he wants to join. Arsenal have made full personal term offers to the player as per the AFC belt. Very trusted Arsenal source. So if Leicester are willing to sell or show encouragement and set a price, the player is willing to join based on the personal terms that you offered him, barring the number 10 shirt. It's all down to you. Now, what's interesting is Arsenal, of course, are going to try and do the best deal possible for themselves from a financial and economic basis. They're not just going to pay 70 mil if they think they can get it cheaper. It's reported that 2 bids, including players, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and I believe the other player they offered in the deal was Ainsley Maitland-Niles. And I can't see the other player's name here. I took notes earlier on. Reece Nelson. And they've both been rejected. There is a train of thought coming out of the Arsenal camp that Joe Willock plus cash, and maybe slightly more cash than in the previous offers, may be able to get this deal done. So it's going to be very intriguing to see what Leicester's response is from this. Now, none of what I have been told today, I spoke to a very good Arsenal source. Then he told me the same thing that Tom from the Guna Talk confirmed as well, is that no official bid has gone in. And if we go back for the course of this summer, we all know that official bids don't go in, generally speaking, until either they're very close to where the acceptable bid would be, or they know it's going to be categorically accepted. That's pretty much the approach of these transfers. As Tom said to me earlier, 99% of this now is done via WhatsApp, and that isn't too far from being the absolute spot-on truth. So it's going to be very intriguing to see what Arsenal do next after these bids, after these rejected bids. I'm very, very intrigued to see what it is that Arsenal do and whether or not they can get this deal done. The question remains whether they will pay the £70 million if they have to. They have spent big before. They've handed out colossal contracts before. And it is the kind of signing that I think the Arsenal fans need to feel appeased. Ben White, excellent. Lokonga, brilliant for the future. Tavares, I get there's some and ahhing over him from Gooners, but landing James Maddison is going to be absolutely key. What's interesting is the Awar situation as well surrounding this, because the Awar situation, Hassan Awar is reportedly a little bit miffed at the moment, a little bit miffed that Arsenal haven't come back in. And that's because they're prioritizing the Maddison situation. Where Arsenal do need to be careful is to not take their eye off the ball, i.e. with the Martinez and the Tammy Abraham situation. I tweeted the other day that Arsenal have to act quickly. The reason they have to act quickly is because they could end up missing out on both. If in an hour's time, Atalanta announced have come to an agreement with Chelsea for Tammy Abraham, and then Inter Milan say we're no longer, and then that triggers Lukaku, and Inter Milan say we are categorically not selling, and this time they mean it. Arsenal are missing out on both their number 1 and number 2 targets in those areas. So nobody can knock the approach from Arsenal, the attempt from Arsenal, the hunger from Arsenal. But where you're judged in the very end of these matters is with is very much with the situation of is the execution. Who do you land? Who do you get over the line? But I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this, ladies and gentlemen. Do me a big, big favor and smash the like button. It's really important to us here at the Football Terrace that you get that done. It truly is. That you subscribe to the channel as well. Very, very important to us. I want to go to some of your live comments. Then we're going to start taking your calls. The link for that is pinned to our live comment section. Thank you to everyone in recent days that has signed up to our new notification group on Telegram. As you know, if you're in there already, there's no spamming in there at all. The link for that is inside our description below. You'll see it next to the green tick so that you get those notifications. I have a super chat here that says, Chelsea fan here. I don't want Lukaku for 100 million. Not worth it for a 28-year-old who relies on pace and physicality. Rather spend 70 million more on Haaland, is what Nova the GOAT has got to say. Edward here says Lukaku finally getting his first big move after years of hard work. Sancho, take note, play well, and Chelsea or City will come calling too. Clear shots being taken there at Manchester United Football Club. There's a comment here from, I think, Todd, who said, I'm not a member anymore. That's fair enough, my friend. If you're not a member anymore, you don't need to be. That is absolutely your choice. A few people in the comments asking how to join as a member. I'll post the link in the live comment section, or you can go to the link in our description below on that. We're going to touch on Kieran Trippier to Manchester United a little bit later on in the show, so stay with us for that news. We're now going to go to some of your calls. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you're thinking. There's a comment here that says, funny how only Arsenal sources are reporting this news. Absolutely nothing from the Leicester end. Well, look, but it isn't funny though, is it? And this is, I really thought the Lukaku situation would have taught, and the Grealish and Lukaku situation should have taught everybody a lesson. But today, the same very mistakes by fans are being made. And I'll tell you what they are, my friend. Firstly, a lot of Villa outlets reported all summer that Jackie ain't going. Jackie isn't leaving. He isn't going to go at all, even to a point where over Monday and Tuesday, they were leaking stories that he was going to sign a new deal. Turns out he had no desire to do that at all. Like if he didn't want this deal to protrude the start of the season, but he really wanted to, his desire was to join Man City, is what I mean. So let me phrase that right. So that local press got it wrong. Equally, some of the biggest journalists in the world got the Lukaku situation so far wrong, it's unbelievable. 1 second, I dropped my pen. They got it so far wrong, didn't they? No chance, untouchable, unattainable, impossible. Whatever the phrases they use, it was never going to happen, and then they did. The irony in it is this. I posted, like I said, I was told yesterday this deal was being delayed because of replacements and protests as a combined thing. I shared a comment earlier from big Chelsea Twitter account, really nice guy, CFC, Pies, I think it's pronounced, at CFC Pies, where he was talking about an article from the Graziella or somewhere that said that the protests were the delay. And I think they're part of that situation. And there are people in the comments saying, Fabrizio hasn't said it, so it can't be true. And I'm like, oh, this is the same guy that 2 days ago had to change his stance because, by the way, a club changed their stance. That isn't Fabrizio's fault. The point isn't Fabrizio was wrong and Matt Law was right. The point is journalists from all different walks of life are told very different things. I thought these two examples would stop, not yourself here from pointing this out. Leicester's End are not reporting on it because Leicester's End are not reporting on it. That doesn't mean the Arsenal reports are not true. Equally, the majority of the Arsenal reports are actually playing down the Maddison deal. They're almost making it sound like a deal that hasn't. They're very angry at anyone that says it's advanced. When of course it's advanced. If they get the deal now with Leicester, it completes because the players agreed to personal terms, or personal terms will be no issues. We've got to stop being suckered in by the semantics. We've got to stop being suckered in by the PR. And we've got to just look at these situations for what they are. Equally, multiple sources Multiple sources are needed when putting these deals together, my friend. JP here says Chelsea fans who are against the Lukaku move obviously don't understand how Haaland's demanded wages would turn our wage structure into shambolics. And you know what, mate? That's something that we spoke about a lot on the terrace, if you remember. Around that for me was the biggest conversation that needed to take place internally at Chelsea Football Club. It just simply had to be. It was the biggest one that had to take place. No doubt about it whatsoever. Terry, apparently there's unrest within the Inter board regarding Lukaku's sale. What do you think about it? It has made me kind of nervous still. My view, of course, there's unrest because they have lied to their fans. They have used Fabrizio Romano as an example to lie to their supporters. That's why the outrage is there. If they were honest and transparent from the start of the window and said, we're going to have to sell 2 or 3 stars this summer, there wouldn't be a panic. There wouldn't be the same level of anger now. But they have categorically lied to their supporters all summer and said that Lukaku won't leave. But he is. So they are worrying, which is why the fan protests and the replacement for me are the bang-on reason as to why there's a slight delay in Chelsea submitting the official bid or the official bid being announced and triggered. Again, I don't care for the semantics. They amount to the same thing. There is a damn delay. And people care about the exact reason when actually it's a combination of things. If they get the replacement and then announce Lukaku's going and very quickly spin it around, you find yourself in a situation where the fallout isn't as bad. So it isn't just needing a replacement for the start of the campaign. It's about finding a replacement that calms the supporters down as well. They're one of the same thing. They're not, for me, mutually exclusive of one another. So I'm just updating the thumbnail here because I just noticed a spelling mistake in Lukaku's name. Good old dyslexia let me down again. So I understand why you're nervous. I wouldn't be. Inter Milan have to sell. Fan pressure or not, they're in a financial mess. They're an absolute mess. I still think there's a small possibility Martinez goes as well, because I don't think they've been transparent at all with their financial difficulties. So as I've said before, these things are all part and parcel of these issues. Now, if they only have to sell one of these players and suddenly Arsenal put a £65 million bid in tonight officially, could that change things? Potentially. If suddenly an investor offers Inter Milan £500,000 to invest in the club, could that change it? Potentially. But those things are so unlikely to happen. So unlikely to happen. Chelsea have either directly or via an intermediary, I don't care which, because they amount to the same thing, have let Inter Milan know what they're willing to pay, and Inter Milan have accepted that. The outrage isn't because they're selling Lukaku, it's because they told the fans they wouldn't. That's my view on that. I'm not having a pop at you. It's just, I don't understand why that's not being reported, because that's what it is. As soon as you read the reports, that's the obvious bit for me. Let's do a couple more comments, and then we're going to go to your live chat. Over 2,000 people watching us live right now. That's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace right now. If you want to phone in, you'll see on the live comment section underneath the poll is the link via StreamYard to give us a call and to give your say. We're going to go to Eric Blue first. Then we're going to go to Arsenal fan Josh. We're going to get Donny James on the show as well. Thank you all for being patient whilst waiting. Very, very honourable and humbling for me that you wait so long to have your say. First caller, though, as I say, Eric Blue is here. Chelsea fan in the house. What's on your mind, mate?
Yo, Terry, how are you doing?
I'm very, very well. What's your take on this Lukaku situation?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Lukaku was actually my first choice. I always thought that the Holland situation would just be too complicated. So I never expected. There were too many things with the Holland deal that I just didn't think it would work out. But I'm really looking forward to Lukaku coming to Chelsea. I feel like it's I've been watching some videos, and I'm a bit of a I'm a bit of a passion merchant, so I feel like this was going to happen at some point. Lukaku was going to come back, but obviously it needs to be a happy ending, so hopefully he proves some haters wrong, and yeah, hopefully he helps us challenge for the title. I was reading some things about the chairman for the Inter chairman.
Mhm.
I think he was talking about, well, the report said that he's thinking about what to do. I'm not sure, what he can do to make Lukaku stay, because I think Lukaku wants to leave. So, yeah,
Yeah, you're right about that. When it's just thinking of what to do, I think that means my reading of that is thinking how to navigate this disaster with the fans. Lukaku has now openly stated he wants to go. And I think also now that he stated that, there's no return back, because also the Inter fans will turn on him because you told us you were happy and didn't want to leave. And now you've said you have. That's going to be so it's too far down the line for them to, in my opinion, now it's too far down the line for anyone to pull out because the cat's out of the bag. The horse has bolted. And I, I think I think that's it, really. I think they're going to try their best as quick as they can to get a replacement lined up. They may have already been working on that deal for a while. Let's see what happens in the next 12 to 24 hours. I did expect the official bid to be announced by now, but I do understand why the delays have happened. But from the player himself, he's likely to be here. Christophe Terrer was one of the first to say that don't listen to Lukaku saying that he's happy. Let's wait to see what happens when the big money offers really do roll in.
I've got a question.
Expected to be there for the Super Cup.
Yeah, I've got a question for you, Terry. I know what you said about Holland, and it sounded a bit crazy, the prediction you made. So my question is, obviously, I don't think you think Lukaku is as good, but how many goals do you think Lukaku would score for Chelsea?
Prem or all competitions?
Just the Prem.
I think he'll score 25 goals.
Wow. So you're expecting him to get the golden boots?
Yeah, unless anyone beats that, unless anybody has an even better season, I'm expecting about 25 league goals from him. The reason I expect that is he's changed as a player. He's improved as a player. He's fitter than he's ever been before. He's got the bit between his teeth, and Thomas Tuchel's system is gonna allow him to basically shoot fish in a barrel. So I think he's going to score 20. I think he'll score 35 to 38 goals in all competitions.
So you think he's world class now? Those are world class stats. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they are world class stats. I really do. I think he's going to do a tremendous job at Arsenal Football Club next season. There's no doubts about that in my mind. At Chelsea Football Club, sorry. Thank you very much, mate, for coming on and having your say. I really appreciate that, Eric. Top man. Thank you. It's good to hear a positive Chelsea fan on this. It really and truly is. We've got Egal to come on the show very, very soon with me. We can do some other calls first. Josh is here as an Arsenal fan. We're talking James Maddison to Arsenal. Give me your thoughts, mate.
Yo, Terry, how are you, man? How you doing?
I'm very, very well. Give me your thoughts on this current situation. 2 bids turned down, a third one expected. What's your thoughts?
As I've said, I have a really good feeling that Maddison will come to Arsenal, and I'm really, really confident. And as for the Martinez deal, this can go 2 ways. Either we can get him and actually smash the cash, or I don't think Inter will sell him because why would they sell 2 strikers? And also, Grealish to Man City, I am petrified. Like, bro, I'm legit shook, bro. Like, De Bruyne, Foden, and Grealish all in the same team, bro. Like, the league is done. It's over. Just hand it the league. It's just done, man. It's over. It's pointless. I'm shook, man. I'm scared.
Listen. Let me just say this now. I understand why. The league is not over, though, Josh. The league is never over. There are no guarantees. There are no guarantees with this, and the bit's going to be between everybody's teeth. Chelsea are bringing in Lukaku. Chelsea are going to bring in Koundé. Chelsea may then even go with the money they're saving, not buying Haaland. They may then even go and get a bit of Declan Rice, which gives them even more strength. Chelsea are going to be breathing down Man City's necks, with or without completing Grealish and Harry Kane. They are going to be breathing down their necks. Liverpool should come back all guns blazing, according to their fans. Van Dijk being out was the reason they didn't win the league, so they're going to be back. And don't sleep on Manchester United. Don't sleep on them at all. But Josh, top man, thanks for coming on and
Cheers,
having
man. Thank you. God bless. God bless.
Martinez and Madders. You're up there as well, my friend.
Yeah.
Take care, mate. I'll speak to
Cheers,
you
man.
in a bit. We're going to get CFC Gem, man like Gemini, and Egal on very, very soon. Looking forward to meeting them, their boys this weekend at the first official Football Terrace meetup. But I do have a Football Terrace announcement. We've today secured the first location for, we secured it yesterday, but we finalized some things today. Dates are going to come out very, very soon for the first Football Terrace away day. It's going to be at a location that holds up to about 200 people. First come, first serve will go to our legends and super fans and our first team members. So they will be told the location and time first and be able to book themselves onto that. Then it will go out to the rest of the Football Terrace subscribers. We'll share it with subscribers only, and then general after that. So it'll be up to 200 people watching us live at the venue. We might pick a match day to do it first with, and then go from there. So keep tuned for that. Going to be very, very excited to actually do these shows in front of about 200 of you live, but of course broadcasting it simultaneously on Tinternet. On Tinternet. Why are Man City not hijacking this Lukaku deal and moving for him now? If you go back and, well, they made him an offer earlier on in the summer. So Man City have tried to, so Chelsea fans, if you want a little bit of banter with City fans, remember this. City made an offer to Lukaku earlier on in the summer. Cast iron fact. From the best mind in the best transfer journalist out there, Dean Jones. The best. Go back and watch all the past shows he'd done and listen to the things he said. I listened to 2 old shows today. Some of the stuff he said, I didn't even notice he said, and he got so right. It's unbelievable. The geezer's a guru. However, Lukaku didn't want to go there. Lukaku wants to return, and this is where you turn back and go back and listen to what Sasha Tavalieri said first time round. He wants to go back to the club he fell in love with 10, 11 years ago, and that's Chelsea Football Club, not Arsenal. It's Chelsea. He wants to go back and deliver at the club that he's got unfinished business with. He's got no unfinished business with Everton, no unfinished business with Manchester United. He has unfinished business with Chelsea. The Chelsea move is what's tempted him away from Inter Milan. Not even so much the Premier League and the riches that come with it, bigger wages. It isn't even that. He's getting that because he deserves it. It's because he wants to go in there and prove to the Chelsea fans that in a nice way, you should never have got rid of me. You should have always kept me. You should have made me your main man, and you'd have won more titles and more Champions Leagues between now and then. That's what he wants to go and prove. So it isn't about why aren't City hijacking it. You can't hijack a deal where the player doesn't want to join. Nobody was able to hijack Varane to United or Sancho because they only wanted those teams after initial inquiries were made. It's why when people tell me Martinez is not advanced and Maddison's not advanced, I don't care what PR bollocks is being spun on the internet. You know they're advanced, but the continuation, the push from Arsenal. No one else is in for those players because they've committed themselves to wanting to play for Arsenal. Now, Man City suddenly came in. You might turn Maddison or Martinez's head because City are now looking at Martinez. But if City make an offer to Martinez, he goes, nah, mate, I want the Gunners. They walk away. They can't hijack a deal that the player doesn't want to come to you. That's why, my friend Bruce. Great super chat, though. We're going to get Donny James on. Then we're going to get Egal and Gem on together. And we're going to continue to take your calls. But do me a favor now on the Football Terrace, especially if you're brand new to this platform. Subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, and I'm going to share it in the comment section in case you missed it. This is the group. Never miss another transfer update or another video again from the Terrace. They all get posted in here. It's the brand new Telegram group. Get yourself signed up right now. It'll take you 2 minutes. Over 2,200 watching. Let's get this past 1,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Donny James is here. What you saying, brother?
It's Harry. There they go. Yeah. So first of all, I got a job. I'll say that right now. I got myself a job interview and I got the acceptance on the job, so I'm going to sign the paperwork tomorrow.
What's the job?
I'm doing some like part-time work down at the KFC at Lakeside to earn a bit of money.
Good lad. Free food as well. Banging.
Yeah, I get a staff meal, so it's a bargain. I think the pay's something like $8.36 an hour, and it's like 4 or 5 hour shifts, so it's worth that. Money's going towards the season. And And I've got an America stream tomorrow, so I've got all that to prepare for, which has been great. And yeah, it's been busy going into the new season, especially with all the transfer deadlock at the moment with Richie Wellens. But manager's been texting me, he's fine, he's looking forward to the new season, and yeah, he's looking forward to it. But yeah, this Lukaku deal, I don't see Man City hijacking this deal. It's like Donny Rovers trying to hijack the deal for Harry Kane. It's like it's not going to happen. I see only one team getting Lukaku, and that's Chelsea. I think United maybe could go in for Haaland next summer with the cut price deal. I think there's an opportunity there to go with that, especially with Cavani getting older, with Martial maybe getting moved on either this summer or next summer, or in January maybe. So I think that, Lukaku to Chelsea, in my opinion, could be imminent. Again, it's that whole thing of what's delaying it. Is it the process? Is it the paperwork? Is it the fee negotiations? Very interesting on the poll, by the way. But I think that Lukaku would be a good signing for Chelsea. And I think Haaland to United next summer would be fantastic. Grealish to Man City. I'm going to hold my hands up because I said Grealish was staying at Aston Villa. I apologise. Man City have done the paperwork and they've done the business. So Jack Grealish to Man City, here we go. Rafael Varane flying to Manchester to do his medical for that move, so thank God for that. Maddison to Arsenal. I'd like to see this transfer, but I think for Leicester fans, don't worry if you lose Maddison because you've got enough talent there to keep a quality squad. So I would say to Leicester fans, don't worry if Maddison goes, but if he doesn't go, then Arsenal fans, it's not going to be a repeat of Buendia, but it might start reaching those levels. But just a bit of banter there. But big up yourself, Terry, big up the Terrace, and I'd love to, hopefully in the future with this location, I'd love to do a Football League show with you. I'd love to get Championship 1 League 2.
Probably not on the Terrace, but there are other means within the snack world. Snack Media are partners with the biggest football league website in the world. So maybe there's some synergy there we can talk about another time. Top man, thanks, Donny James. Thank you very much, and congratulations on getting your job. Done deal, here we go. Donny James to KFC. Top man, well done, mate.
Thank you.
Do you know how much transfer talk has got into people's heads? The guy's like, I'm going to go, the way he said, I'm going to go down and sign the paperwork tomorrow. Going to take my dad and my representation, my management with me. Like, he made it sound like a transfer. I love it, but congrats on that. Working is a few people sniggling in the audience. Job is a job is a job. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be earning some dough for that, and that's what's more important. We're going to get Egal and Gem on. Look at this. We're going to go a little bit old school here, actually. We're going to go a little bit old school. We're going to get Gem on. We're going to get Egal on. But Galamus Prime is here. I'm so intrigued to see watch Prime on Saturday night, Move to Girls. I'm going to watch that like watching a David Attenborough documentary. I really am. If you're new to the Terrace, you don't know who I'm talking about, you have to subscribe. This is the best football community on God's green earth. It truly is. If you're an atheist, then just earth, right? It's the best. Also, Kai's coming on. We haven't had all these people on the stream together in a long time, so I'm very, very happy about that. I truly am. I need that like button smash, though. I will talk Kieran Trippier a little bit later on in the show, but Jem's here, Egal's here, Kai's here, Prime's here. Old school lineup here. How's it going, gents? And then Jem jumped off. I don't know what's wrong with him. Has there been a fight?
It's probably his phone or something.
Oh, yeah, terrible. Like, considering how rich Jem is, considering how much money he makes, worst internet and worst connection ever. But how are we, boys?
Chilling, man. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good.
All good. All good. How are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. Good. Last 10 minutes of work and then I'm free, so I'm good.
Nice. I want to go to you first, Egal.
Yeah.
The Maddison situation is pretty much universal now. Peter O'Rourke, Chris Wheatley, the Football Insider. By the way, the Football Insider, they are bang on and very, very quick and accurate. What's your take on the current James Maddison situation and what's going on there, brother?
I can start to sense that Brendan Rodgers is sweating. That's why he's talking about it in his interviews, bringing it up, getting more and more light to the situation. I generally feel like James Maddison does want to move. Obviously, his agents and everyone has spoken to Arsenal's intermediates in the background. What we're waiting for is to see if my club actually puts the money up, because I don't think they're going to take any swap deal. As you said today, it's been rejected. And any swap deals, is not going to happen. So that's why I think we're selling Joe Willock to Newcastle for 25 million in order to raise some funds to get the deal over the line.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what you can do. I still get a feeling you're going to try and pull one of these deals off. Kai, can you see Arsenal pulling off this James Maddison deal?
Honestly, Terry, I couldn't care less about Arsenal. Their mid-table, doings doesn't really interest me that much. But if they can get Maddison, you know what? It's good. They're competing with Leicester City anyway. That's their competition nowadays, mid-table. No offense, Egal.
Hey, you're gonna throw shots. I'm not gonna react.
I hear you on that. How about yourself, Prime? I mean, James Maddison, is it the right kind of signing for Arsenal?
If they can get him, then yeah, I don't rate Maddison too highly, I'll be honest. But in terms for them, he's I cannot say if they can get someone better like Grealish, so he should be a good signing for them. But I think they still have problem areas that they need to address. Their right back situation, whether it's Bellerin, Cedric, Chambers, I think they're all on the same level. It's good that, in my opinion, it's good that Xhaka is staying because he's their best midfielder. However, they still have a midfielder situation as well. Their goalkeeper situation is also a mess. But look, if that's the only thing that they can necessarily do right now, then it's great for them.
Yeah, I do hear you. I do hear you on that. Look, I think still they can really get done. They can get over the line. They can complete on. It's just in their hands, and the more, what's the word I'm looking for? The more I read, especially from the reportedly credible Arsenal journalists, the more I read it and just think, well, this is in Arsenal's hands, then, isn't it? If like I said before, if they decide not to offer the cash, they're not offering the cash. There's no. I know some people say it isn't there, but it is there. You can subsidize for a year easily, a year, 2 years. Go, do you know what? We'll be out of pocket this year by pumping a bit more money in because we can't get rid of all of our players. But it's important. Now, how frustrating would it be to not get Maddison this year, as an example, and next year he goes to a rival because they're then suddenly in the market? Like with Maddison and Martinez, Arsenal have had a free run at those players all summer. They have to land the marquee player, in my opinion.
I don't think, Terry, that the club is going to go and just say the window's done. We're not going to get any players in. We're not going to get anybody in. I still believe that we're going to try to get rid of some players on the end of the window, and we're going to try to sign James Maddison. But this deal is going to be something that happens at the back end of the window because Arsenal and how we've done business over the last couple of years, especially with the Kieran Tierney deal. If we're going to get stuff done, we know that clubs are not going to take our players until near the end of the window because they're on high wages and they don't want to put those wages on their books until the end of the summer. And Arsenal ourselves, we don't do that. We don't bring in players early because we actually do look at how much wages we're going to be bringing them in. And we make sure that we do it on the back end of the window instead of the beginning, even though it hinders our first couple of games of the Premier League season. We're not worried about that. As long as we get the player before the window closes, I'm happy.
No, and I know that, but you do need to land one. Jem, we are going to talk Lukaku in a minute. What in the situation holding that up? But in terms of James Maddison, I'd love your thoughts on Arsenal's approach. Do you think they'll pay the 70 million, or do you think, because this is what they're trying to do, is that they think that they can get it Willock plus cash? That's what I'm, a lot of reports on today. Do you think Arsenal can get this deal done and sort of beat Leicester in the debate and negotiations? Because Leicester is simply stating it's cash only or no deal. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think any idea of Joe Willock leaving Arsenal and going to Leicester, forget that. I just don't see why Leicester would take that type of player in their team. I don't think it's a comparison when you compare the player that's going the other way. So I don't see how, a Willock to Leicester works for them. That's my opinion. I agree. I think with Leicester, with Arsenal, it's going to be cash only. And I think they can get it done. I think they can get it probably more done than the Martinez deal, only purely because of Chelsea and the Lukaku thing. I just don't see Inter Milan selling both players, both forwards, and I think it's more doable for us. If you would, I think in terms of where Arsenal are at the moment and the player that they need to bring in, I think Maddison is more important than a Martinez. That's my opinion. I don't know if Egal agrees with me or if he disagrees, but I
agree
think
with you 100%.
Maddison's better for them in terms of what they need, the creativity, the eye to be able to pick a ball out over the top, keep the ball, just score goals because he contributes to a lot of goals as well. So I think overall he's the better fit for Arsenal than maybe a Martinez coming in when you've got Aubameyang and Lacazette and whatever else there.
I agree with you 100%, bro.
Yeah,
honestly, I would rather have a number 10 come in than another striker, because I feel like we have so many strikers. But guess what? If we can possibly move Lacazette and Eddie Nketiah before the end of the window, we're gonna get a striker in. I just know we are.
Is there not hope or faith in what's his name, Balogun? Because
Listen,
was it a couple of weeks ago when the big Tammy to Arsenal thing was really heating up, Arsenal fans were saying I'd rather just play Balogun than Tammy. So I'm assuming that you guys think he's,
I think it's about the future of the club. You don't want to have 18-year-olds and 30-year-olds and nothing in between in your striking ranks. Let's be real. You need somebody when Lacazette and Aubameyang are at the end of their time, and these guys are still going to be 21, 22 by the time these guys end up leaving the club. So I don't think they're looking at it in that way, that it's going to hinder Balogun. You need a 27-year-old, 26-year-old within the ranks in order to bring balance to the ages of the players. If you have a striker that's 30, retires, and you have a 21-year-old coming up, you're not going to give him the keys right away unless he's a world-class talent.
Well, I heard that he's better than Tammy already. That's why I'm asking.
Hey, Arsenal fans, we're gonna say whatever we're gonna say. I just don't want Tammy Abraham because he's at Chelsea, and we've been burnt by Chelsea plenty of times by buying your players. So I just don't want to be burnt.
Forget that he was say he's from Leicester, Palace, or whatever. Forget he's Chelsea. Would you want Tammy?
I don't think I can look past the fact that he plays for Chelsea. I'm sorry. If he has, even though he might have better numbers than Ollie Watkins and what's his name, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I'd rather take those guys just because of the fact that they'll be taking a step up in their career. Where Tammy Abraham has already won the Champions League and he's coming to Arsenal, and it's like I feel like he would get comfortable at Arsenal where these other guys would be working to strive.
He'd score goals for you. I reckon he was.
I honestly don't care. I just can't look. I can't look past the fact that he's played for Chelsea and be like he's gonna come to Arsenal and want to progress us.
He's an Arsenal fan, Egal.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who he's a fan of. The fact that he's played for Chelsea and he would be coming to Arsenal as a Chelsea reject, technically, I don't think so.
He's not. I think just because you guys have signed bad Chelsea players in the past, I don't think it's fair to say Tammy's going to be bad as well.
Think about the fan base. The fan base will not ever accept him. Anything he does wrong, any mistake he makes, any bad game he gets, he will get criticized to a level worse than any player that we've had because he's already former Chelsea.
Yeah, but it's like Chelsea fans saying, oh, because in the past we spent big money on strikers and they flopped, so Torres and Morata, Werner, then we shouldn't spend however much money on Haaland or Lukaku because they're also going to flop.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is Tammy Abraham better than Lacazette right now?
It's not that. It's the rival.
Yes, he is better than Lacazette.
Look, Prime, what you're forgetting mainly is it's more of the rivalry thing. It's it's not the badness built up between us, but it's more of how we are with each other. You know how we banter each other like we do with Spurs and each other. When you have a player that comes from a club that you banter a lot, or you have a lot of thingy a lot, it's easier to target that player because he came from a club that's a rival, a direct rival to you.
So,
do you know what I mean?
So the rivalry and the banter is more important than dropping your pride and actually looking at it objectively and saying that.
One second. Besides being taller than Lacazette, what is he actually better than?
He will get you goals, which is what you guys don't have.
No, but what ability is he actually better than Lacazette?
Scoring goals.
That's a good point, Egal.
That's scoring goals is not an ability. It's a trait. What is he actually better than him at? Like, is he better hold up play? Is he better link up play? Is he a better passer? Can he? Is he better aerially? Is he better in the box? Can he defend going forward? What is he better than at Lacazette?
Well, actually, Egal, I can answer that. We're struggling with that. We actually don't know what he is properly, to be honest, as a striker. So we can't. There's no answer.
Okay, he's quicker. He's faster. That's one.
You know what? Fine. You're right. But the thing is, if you're going to play Lacazette centrally as, say, a link striker or false line or whatever, then you need goals everywhere else in your team, which you don't have. So it's either one or the other, isn't it?
Okay, let me ask you this. Would you rather have at Chelsea, would you rather have Lacazette or Tammy Abraham?
Well, as a backup striker,
Yeah.
I take Tammy. I
said
I don't want Tammy to leave as a backup striker because I know he will score against the lesser sides and he will score in cup games.
Okay. People in the comments, let me know, who would you rather have, Lacazette or Aubameyang? Lacazette or Tammy? Kai, what about you?
I prefer Lacazette because for me, Tammy is a center forward with CDM attributes. So I of course, I'll take Lacazette. No offense to Tammy, man.
There you go. What about you? What about you?
I say neither, if you want my honest opinion. I'm not just keep it short and sweet.
I look at it this way, right? I get the arguments, and I think there's some really good points being made there. I think the problem with Lacazette is it's been done, it's been dusted, it hasn't worked. I think Tammy could work at Arsenal, but there is a difference here. Arsenal are looking to pay between 30 and 40 million pounds for Tammy, whereas they are looking, if they had the cash in their bank account right now and could do it, they have to move people on first, like most clubs, by the way. This kind of notion that Arsenal fans, we have to sell before we buy. Most clubs have to balance the book at some stage. It's pretty normal, really. City, owned by country, have still got, Bernardo Silva is highly likely to leave. Gabriel, highly likely to leave. The wealthier clubs and the ones that are run very well, sometimes, and Man United have done a very good job this year for the first time in about 4 or 5, where we've signed our marquees before moving on more of the dead wood. That's quite a rare thing for us to do. But Martinez is the main target, and he's at 65 million quid. That's the level that Arsenal really need to be shopping at. The problem that Arsenal have got, and it's no disrespect to Tammy, is it's hard to attract those kind of players and get them done from a financial standpoint. Arsenal have dropped to a point where signing Tammys is maybe what they've got to do. And I think Tammy would deliver more for Arsenal than Lacazette has done, or he's got a chance of doing something different at least. But I don't know. It's an interesting one for me. I think they need better than Tammy Abraham for them to really push on for top 4. Yeah. Martinez is, of course, that target. We are going to take some more calls soon. The other striker on the agenda today, of course, is Lukaku. The deal is close. We know that the deal is close to going through. I want to go to Kai first on this. I'm interested to know what you think is holding this up. Of course, a bid, whether it be formal or informal, was rejected a few days ago. Why do you think the second bid, what really confuses me, I want to make sure I paint the picture here, is every journalist and his dog has said, the next bid will be accepted, yet reportedly there's been no contact between the clubs. How the fuck do they know then? Like, it's a mad one. Do you know what I mean? Why do you think this bid hasn't gone in yet or been publicated yet? What do you think the holdup is in this deal?
Because the Italian Inter fans are too busy crying, man. So Inter are trying to find a good PR way to sell him, So maybe like somebody to replace him, a statement or something, something positive for them to be able to, to ease them into the sale of Lukaku. Because if you look at it like objectively, Inter, if you look at Inter, I think there was somebody leaked it or said something about their finances, and their finances are horrible. So they need the sale of Lukaku. At the end of the day, I think the Italian fans will cry a little bit, but in the end, Inter will accept because they need it, and objectively, they do need to sell. So I expect Lukaku to be a Chelsea player by next week, to be honest. Even though I'm a bit annoyed about the thing with the pressure and the protest from the Inter fans, but at the end of the day, money talks in the world, and especially in football, and especially if your club has financial issues.
Yeah, no, I do get that compare. How about yourself, Gemma? Some Chelsea fans seem really concerned about this deal falling through.
That's how I feel about it still, to be honest. It's got to the point now where I've said this a number of times. I just want clarity, man. Like, I just want clarity, and that clarity means laying an official bid. And this is why it's been very interesting, this transfer window, when you look at Chelsea and how it's moved. And I want to talk a little bit about the journalists, because the journalists that have reported it, the tier ones and whatever, I feel like, I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like all the way up to now, even including in this Lukaku deal, how quick it progressed, moved, all of a sudden Chelsea won him 2, etc. You right, Kai?
Right, cool. I'm here. So it's reacting like yours.
Oh, right. Sorry, no worries. It's just not my train of thought. I thought you were trying to say something.
You said the journalists.
Yeah,
said
so
the journalists.
I've got to the point where, you know how we tier these journalists, how we say tier 1s, tier 2s, whatever, etc. It's got to the point now where whatever they say, I'm not really taking it as gospel. The amount of left and rights and ups and downs that we've been dragged to throughout this transfer window, whether it be Haaland, whether it be Lukaku, is, for me as a Chelsea fan, has been horrible. I haven't enjoyed it once. I don't know how Kai and Primer felt about it, but it's to the fact that we're leaving it to maybe potentially going into another week, going into next week, close to the Super Cup, close to the beginning of the season. I don't think that's personally going to happen. I think the deadline will be the end of this week. Fabrizio Romano, who was on Twitch with Christoph the other day, said this deal has to be done this week. Yeah, it can't go into next week. Chelsea have to do something now. It has to be pushed and finalised now. And
Yeah.
I just think it. You know, I think we should get it done, Terry. We should get it done. We're based upon all of the stress and crap that we've been brought through the whole transfer window in terms of a striker coming to us. So we just have to wait and see, mate.
Do you know what? It's a really good shout. Having spoke directly to more journalists this summer than ever before, especially having private conversations with them, they find it hilarious that Twitter is tiered journalists. Like legitimately, he said that if you work in the industry, of course, which I don't because I'm not a journalist, he said that some of the journalists that get put down as tier 4s internally within their industry are some of the most respected story getters out there. It's how Twitter's all about how you present things. And of course, the more popular you get, the more agents and clubs feed into you, because what's become so apparent in the last 2 years has been media spin. So like, I get a lot of people pop at me for the way I title things. And it's because I title things and say things are partly what's being said, but then I still cut through a little bit of the nonsense. So if someone says, oh, there's an informal bid going in today from Arsenal, I'm just calling it an offer or a bid. I can't not, because for me, it's like, what is the difference between Arsenal making a bid via an intermediary or doing it directly? Like in the cold light of day, there isn't a tangible.
You either do it or you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that for me is where the football fans are really accountable. So, and it depends, as you say. So tier 1's connected to a big club. Say things like not advanced, early stages, only informal conversations, nothing is serious at this moment in time. I always think when I hear that, it's a lot more serious than you're saying. A bit more. If it, one second. If it's in the other direction, so maybe it's the selling club, you know, like Leicester's journalists right now are so quiet. That's a telltale sign for me, because they don't want to put their neck on the line as an example. Of course, some people go out of the blocks far too quickly and state things, you know, only listen to one source and go out and say something's done a little bit prematurely and then have to go on Twitter and apologize for it. But equally, I'm happy to put my hands up when I say I get things wrong.